Welcome to the Fallout House of Secrets edition, where we are your number one source for the fallout of all things reality TV. Today, we are here with our Week 2 recap, Part 1 for Big Brother Australia 2021. I'm Logan Murphy.
I'm Jordyn Lagace.
With an upgraded microphone, if you didn't notice.
ASMR, Jordyn.
Can we not?
You're welcome.
So yes, Jordyn got a new microphone, but her visual is still crunchy as ever.
Bite me.
I'm good. But yeah, so we are here. We're going to be talking episodes 4 and 5 of BB Australia. And like we mentioned in our last video, live episode, podcast, recording, all those things. We're now going to be splitting BBAU. We're now going to be splitting BBAU into 2 episodes a week because it's a lot. There's there's like 7 hours of BB Australia for this week. So we figured it would probably be best to only go, or to split it up and do 2 episodes per recording for us. So that's what we're going to be doing today. But before we get started, if you are watching with us live or after the fact on YouTube, make sure you are subscribing to the channel, turning on the notifications, liking, commenting, sharing, all that stuff. And if you're listening to us afterwards, wherever fine podcasts can be listened to, make sure you're doing the exact same. And without further ado, Jordyn, I wish I had
into it.
I wish I had cued Walking on Sunshine, because that's how they got to wake up on this episode. Which I love that song. And you know who didn't love the song? Tilly. Tilly was not impressed with the song choice.
Tilly was not. She was like, bitch.
You know you don't need to lean into your microphone. We can hear you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I just like to lean in.
But then we can't see your beautiful face. So the video viewers would like to see your face, because in an upcoming episode, you're not going to be able to see your face much. Yeah. So we start episode 4. We are on day 9 in the Big Brother house. I said Big Brother. Come on, Tina Thistle.
Big Brother.
Shout out to Tina Thistle. So
while we are live, let's just quickly say, everybody go vote for Canada's favorites. A fan of this podcast, go vote Julie Vu
or Tina Thistle.
Tina Thistle or Julie Vu. No other names will be accepted.
I disagree. I would also potentially do Victoria or Rohan, but that's just me personally.
No.
Go vote for whoever your favorite Canadian house guest is. But we're not talking about Canadian house guest, Jordyn. We're talking about Australian house guests.
You know who else isn't in the BBAU house yet?
Yeah, we're still wondering, where is Brenton?
Hi, where is Brenton? That's all I want to know.
I would like to know.
Is he in a box? Is he in the attic? Where is he?
I don't think he's in the attic, but we'll talk about that on Saturday's episode.
You know who we did see?
Who?
Scarioki.
We're not there yet.
We're
not there yet.
I'm just jumping ahead as per usual.
Well, okay. So it is surprise week in the BBAU house.
Surprise.
We find out in a DR that Carlos is a college professor. Would have been nice to know, but I'm glad we know now.
We don't get the VTs. I want the VTs. Give me
No, we
all
got
the VTs and
we
not...
got Carlos's VT though.
Yeah,
Multiple
well, they leave
times.
information out.
Oh, of course. Yeah, and so Tilly also in the DR is saying that the mood in the house is a little bit lighter. Since, as a reminder, Renata was the last person evicted. And so the mood in the house is a little bit lighter now that she's gone. And I can definitely see that from the editing that we're getting, which, speaking of the editing, Jordyn, should we talk about the editing?
The editing is something, and okay. Big Brother AU. This is like, let's have a talk. You should have gave us everyone's VTs when you introduced them. For one, your editing unintentionally spoils who goes home.
Yeah.
Which is also annoying.
It's too much at this point. Like, I'm getting frustrated.
You know, I keep accidentally spoiling myself because obviously we're in North America, so we're having that rough loss in translation that it takes us a day or two to get to it. And I don't like the way you can tell who leaves by the way the editing is in the episode.
Yeah, it's the edit, and this is also a thing that they've gotten better at. I think this week they got better with it. Not spoiling who was evicted, like, in the tweet, but instead they're sending like a video, or they're tweeting a video of the eviction with like a spoiler beforehand. I'm like, okay, I appreciate that, because I don't always have the time to get around to watching the episodes immediately. I literally watched Sundays and Mondays episodes today. Like, I sat down today and watched 3 episodes of BBAU. And I'm probably going to go watch the 4th one later today. So, like, they fixed that problem, which I appreciate. I still got spoiled because I had to look up fucking voting information, but it's fine. But yeah, so there's just, like, some cute little conversations. And we get to see Michael, Jordyn. Did you know who Michael was? I vaguely remembered him.
You know who else we seen? Charlotte made
We're
an
not
appearance.
there yet either.
She made an appearance.
She was pretty pivotal to this episode, and I was kind of surprised. So we get Michael's VT, which bodes well for anyone who's getting a VT in episode 4. So he's from Perth. He's a marketing consultant. He's a nice guy, but he lives at home.
He's a mama's boy.
He's a mama's boy. He needs to get better at adulting, which I do too, to be fair. It's like, it's cool. And then he calls Big Brother saucy and sinister.
That is my new definition for Big Brother: saucy and sinister.
That was almost gonna be the name of the episode today.
I mean, I get why we named the episode what we named it, but as a fan of not Daniel, I feel like we're intruding in Daniel's space in the cave today.
I know.
You're watching the visual.
He always likes to be in the fucking cave.
What do you guys think of Michael's description, saucy and sinister? Let us know in the chat.
Yeah, so we get right before this karaoke, we see Nick, the sheriff, as he's now calling himself.
There's a general, there's a sheriff. Frankly, I could use without both of them.
ACAB. That's all I'm going to say. Moving on. Yeah, so Nick is talking about how he thinks that, like, he's basically paranoid at this point that the BB Air people have an 8-person alliance. And we'll get there, but they really don't. But he is just absolutely paranoid to the point where he goes to Tilly and then goes to Ari. And he's like, is it an us versus them thing? I don't know if it's an us versus them thing. It might be an us versus them thing. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up. This is not the way to make allies. But apparently he doesn't need it.
Not to mention, why is he doing what he's doing? Why are you going to the BBAU thing? Well, like the air people and going, are you
in an 8-person alliance with the people you came into the house with? Like, no one's gonna tell you, even if they were. Like, I didn't understand this at all. I was just so confused by how direct he was. And then everyone's freaking out over coffee, which leads us into Jordyn's favorite task, the karaoke task. And I'm loving, and I'll say this, for the tasks throughout this entire week of BBAU so far, the tasks have felt very BBUK. And I won't lie, I've been in like my little like nostalgia bubble. Like, I've been so happy with the tasks they've gotten this week. My favorite one is the one we're going to talk about on Saturday. But yeah, so they have the karaoke task.
I love that task.
We'll talk about it on Saturday.
To the alarm thing, right?
Yes, but and we'll talk about it on. We'll talk about it more on Saturday. But I love it. So for the karaoke task, they have to stick their hands and then at the end their heads in boxes while everyone's singing "Walking on Sunshine." And I was like, is that the only song you could get the rights to? Like, is that what we're having the problem with? Because maybe. Like, I would have liked it more, I think, if there were more songs. Like, if it wasn't the same song over and over again, I think I would have liked it more.
Yeah, they should have had like a mix-up. Like, they should have mixed them up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But the prize for this task, Jordyn, is an espresso machine. Except Big Brother, no, I have a bone to pick. Big Brother said espresso. And I wanted to like scream and jump through my laptop screen because it's espresso. It's not espresso. There is no X in the word espresso.
Also, where's the espresso budget this season? Espresso machine. Like, we already look, we already put one in the Chippy, and now we're giving them another one?
Apparently, they're just not that expensive in Australia.
Apparently.
I mean, my 12-cup drip coffee machine was like, well, I got it on sale as like a back-to-school thing for college for like $25. But like normally it was like $60. So like,
is that? Yeah. The budget seems to be all in the food budget. The food budget is basically the espresso machine budget.
And now you're saying it wrong, and now I'm annoyed.
Espresso. I don't drink coffee. I'm not a coffee.
Espresso. I'm not espresso.
I am not Carlos.
Hi, I'm just sitting here with my coffee.
Carlos.
Stop that. So Tilly's in first.
Speaking of, did we come up with our... We haven't... Y'all, we are working on the drinking game. We'll have it for Saturday. Yeah.
So it's going to be a running thing. So we've got a few so far. So drink every time Carlos mentions coffee. I'll make a graphic for this too and tweet it when we decide on the definite ones. But it's drink every time Carlos says coffee. Drink every time Charlotte's on screen. I think that's a cute one.
Anytime tofu is mentioned. Tofu.
Oh, God. We'll talk about tofu on Saturday.
Your people, the vegans, all that.
Drink every time Daniel is jump roping.
Take 2 shots if he falls flat on his face.
And chug your drink every time someone jumps in the pool. Oh, we'll make a graphic for it and we'll tweet it.
You all will be dead Saturday night.
Literally dead. But yeah, no, Jordyn, what did you think about this task?
I like the task. It was very on trend with the whole what's inside the box YouTube trend.
Oh,
Like,
yes. Yeah.
you put your hand in the box. Ooh, what's in there? Ah!
Yeah, so Tilly's in first, and she just like is like kind of rapidly sticking her hand in, not even actually feeling that there are baby chicks in there. She's freaking out about the hay. And I was dying the whole time. And then, so she gets baby chicks in hay, and then she gets mashed bananas, which, like, fair. I'll give you that one, because that probably would have thrown me
I'm
off.
not a texture person, so that would have thrown me off
No.
too.
And I don't like bananas either, so, like, it would not have been good for me. And then she goes to the last one, Jordyn, and she puts her head in the tank, and there's fully, like, 3 spiders. And I was like, I can't. Also, this is my formal request to all big brothers across the world to stop using animals in these tasks, because it's just not cute.
Also,
like, you can do
like,
so many other things.
yeah, so the one thing that, like, also, if you're going to, like, apply for Big Brother or whatever, never tell them your fears. They will use that shit against you. Yeah, they will they will abuse that. They will
like
use that.
100%, I would be like, oh, I'm afraid of cotton balls. Am I? Absolutely not. But, like,
I'm afraid of Q-tips.
Yeah. Sure. But no, I'm just like, I'm annoyed because, like, so one of Ari's, and we got like a cute montage of them all. One of Ari's was octopus. And I was like, that's not okay. And then Michael had a full-on fucking snake. Like, probably a 30-foot snake.
Did Daniel also have that snake?
No, so Danny got spiders, but he got like
more
because
he's afraid of them.
And he also got mouse traps with his first one. And I was like, that's Big Brother saying he doesn't like Danny. That's production saying he doesn't like Danny. Yeah, so most people do the task. Charlotte quits the task over pineapple. And to be fair, they fail the task. To be fair, I'm allergic to pineapple, so I would have said absolutely not. Like, I'm going to put my hand in the tank, but I'm not feeling around in there. Because I'm not about to get a rash.
No, but, like, I feel like if you're allergic to something, they wouldn't put it in. You know what I mean?
I would hope so.
I want to hope that they would not put it in. But...
Yeah, so Charlotte just fails.
Not even attempt it. She was like, no, sister.
The problem with Charlotte, I want to like Charlotte, and we've kind of made Charlotte a meme here at the Fallout, but, like, I don't think I like Charlotte, Jordyn.
I don't know how I feel about Charlotte. Maybe I've seen enough of Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte could go.
There's more people I like at this point.
Yeah. Like, there's people who went home in these 2 episodes that I would have liked to see stay over Charlotte.
Correct.
We'll talk about it. Yeah, so they technically fail the task, but since everybody else in the house finished the task successfully, they get 1 plunger of coffee to share with 16 house guests. And I was like, that is just such a Big Brother thing to do. I appreciate it. I'm not going to lie. And then, great. Yeah, so the next...
And he was like, plunge faster. That's not enough, Carlos.
So we start the next day, and I didn't realize that they did the BB UK style of, like, food rations.
I think this is the first time they've spoken of food.
This season, at least. I think it was brought up a little bit last season as well. Yep. Food is a common food is a big theme throughout this week's proceedings, and I think we'll have a little bit more to talk about with it on Saturday's episode. But they're surviving on spinach and tuna. And Mary being Mary. And I will say, I was hesitant on Mary, but I've fully turned 180 and I am Team Mary. I love Mary.
I love Mary. Mary is
Mary
icon.
is what I want. Mary is what I thought Renata was going to be, and Renata is what I thought Mary was going to be. So I'm pleasantly surprised to see that Mary is this like lovely, wonderful mom of the house. She ends up making pumpkin soup for the house, and I was like, this is adorable.
Okay, can we talk about like that pumpkin soup looked delicious? I would love the recipe.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of pumpkin, but like that's cute.
Yeah, I love pumpkins. I'm that person. I am pumpkin spice latteing the bitch down.
I'm pumpkin spice latte, but I don't like physical pumpkin that much. Just as like a thing. It's a texture thing for me the same way I can't really do bananas.
That's fair.
But that's just me. That's just me. And then Sheriff Nick is at it again. Drink every time Sheriff Nick comes out. That's gonna be another one. And so he's paranoid again because Ari is sitting with Katie. And honestly, it's for good reason because there's a conversation with Katie, Ari, SJ, Jess, and Charlotte. We see Charlotte, you gotta drink. But Ari tells them all about the Nick conversation, talking about the two groups and the us versus them thing. What did you think about that?
I mean, we shouldn't really be. You would think that, like, if someone's gonna come and be like, "Are there two? Is that me versus you, or you versus whatever?" And Nick doing it directly to like Tilly and Ari. I mean, whether you're close to your people or not, wouldn't you be like, "Hey, this is what he thinks." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, I would have totally went back to my people and been like, "Yeah, he thinks you're in an alliance, a giant one."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, it was like no one was really making it two groups until Nick and Danny made it two groups. And then it definitely, since that point, has kind of been two sides of the house, which honestly, Jordyn, is the big brother I like to see. I love a back and forth on two sides of the house.
I am so happy that it's a good, solid back and forth.
It's not like a concrete back and forth. Like there's some people who are still like in the middle of it, but yeah. So we also see Nick and Danny are talking about this alliance of 7 people that they apparently have, and it's basically just like all the new people or all the original people minus Katie and SJ. So it'd be Nick,
Right.
Danny, Sid, Carlos, Christina, Mel, and Mitch.
Yeah.
Because SJ and Katie have kind of cozied on in with the BB Air people. And so we got this like two-sided house dynamic going into the nomination challenge, which is in 2 teams. And I'm gonna say it now, and this pertains also to the comps for this entire week. I guess all of the BBAU comps are either physical or endurance, Jordyn. And I'm kind of annoyed about it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, yeah, I mean, we did have a woman of a certain age win the first nomination challenge, but since then, like, it's been young, fit people winning the challenges. And I'm just like, why is it all physical? Like, that feels like it pertains to certain house guests, and is it at, like, other house guests are clearly at a disadvantage, regardless of physical or endurance is. And that's how I kind of felt in both of these challenges. I was like, what? No. So
choices were made.
Yeah, so this is basically like a tug of war, sort of. This is also very Survivor. The comps this week across the board for me all felt very Survivor.
I would agree with that. In general, looking back and like looking at the episodes, yeah, they were definitely of a nature.
Yeah. So they're competing in two teams. You have to like push the table, and like basically run over the other team to lift up the flags.
I felt like, so like for that one, it felt very Big Brother was like, oh, Nick thinks there's two sides. Let's really make that apparent.
But we're gonna make random teams.
What did you think of the random teams?
I think the way that they played out was kind of cute. I don't know why it was random teams. It felt very unevenly matched.
Yes.
So we end up with the red team being Nick, Katie, Ari, Michael, Mary, Sid, Tilly, and Mel. And then on the blue team, we have Danny, Jess, Mitch, Chris, Charlotte, Marley, Christina, Carlos, and SJ.
Correct.
And from the start, I kind of figured where the comp was going to go.
I kind of felt that way, especially
it was a lot
in the
closer
editing.
than I thought. It was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So it goes to 5 rounds, which I didn't think it would. Red wins the 3v3 all male. Who was it? Christina and Jess win the 2v2 all women. SJ beats Mary in a 1-on-1, which that was the cute one for me. I was like, I love that we're putting these. One. I was like, I love that we're putting these women of a certain age against each other. Like that was kind of cool. I love that SJ won it too. I was like, yes, come on, girl, I see you.
She beats it out too.
Mm-hmm. And then the 2v2 mixed goes to the red team. Nick and Mel win it. And so we're down to a 1v1 women. And the blue team decides that they're going to put up Christina.
Yeah.
When Jess is a full-ass AFL player.
Yeah. That was weird.
I was so confused. And I think it was Jess that, like, was like, Christina, are you cool with that? I was like, why aren't you going in?
Do you think it would have been, like, more even if it was
I think Jess probably would have won. Honestly, I think Jess probably would have won. And so I was just, like, really confused. So it ends up being Christina versus Mel. Did it? Yeah, it ended up being Christina versus Mel. And Christina still wins it.
Yep, Christina.
So, like, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. So the winning team was the entire fucking team.
Mm-hmm.
So 9 fucking people are now safe from eviction.
Chaos.
And now all 9 of them have to go nominate.
Right to the DR. Nominate bitches.
And I was just like, what the fuck? So all 9 of them go to the diary room, and basically it's like it automatically is like, oh, who do we not want to nominate? And so immediately everyone's like, oh, Mary. And then fucking Danny is like, well, I want Mel and Nick safe. And no one fucking says anything about it. And then they're like, oh, we want to keep Katie safe. Oh, we want to keep Ari safe. Oh, we want to keep Sid safe. So no one says Michael and Tilly. So they end up being the 2 nominees. And then the whole time, Christopher and Marley are kind of just like not saying anything at all, like not defending their people. And I was like, huh? Like, what the fuck is happening? And so they end up deciding on a third nominee who is like a super, like, this season especially, they're calling it a safe bet. And I just, like, drink every time someone says safe bet. We're gonna add that to the fucking drinking
safe
game.
Bet, fucking take a shot.
It's so our
vote. It's the safe vote, bitch.
Yeah. So they end up putting up Michael and Tilly as like the two people that they want to vote out, and then Mary as the safe one, the safe bet, the safe vote. And I'm just like, and then Marley and Chris are talking afterwards, and they're like, well, I wish I would have done more in there. And I'm like, yeah, you should have. Like, why are you letting Danny and, like, that side of the house walk all over y'all?
Why is everybody submitting to Danny? Like, that's what's starting
I
to
don't
piss
get
me
it.
off. Like,
I would not submit to a 5'5" man. Like, no, I'm just gonna fucking walk over you.
Who struggles with skipping.
Oh my god. Don't even get me started
shit.
Don't even get me started on that. So it ends up being, like, everyone's kind of in agreement before they go to the eviction room. Like, Mary's safe. No one's touching Mary. So it's between Michael and Tilly. And so Jess is really pushing the Tilly vote because Tilly seems to be close to Danny, which I hate. I love Tilly, but I hate that she's close to Danny. And then Chris is in the bathroom with Tilly and tells her about
the Chickpeas?
SJ's reason. Yeah, so SJ, during the nominations, gave, like, a sort of reason for nominating Tilly, saying that she burnt the chickpeas, and for vegans, like, one of their only protein sources is chickpeas. And so Tilly basically goes to, like, politely confront SJ about it.
I burned some chickpeas and now I'm going home.
Yeah, so she starts crying. We get that iconic line from the promo. We've seen this video for a while. So I was just waiting for it to come up. And then Tilly kind of gets a pep talk from Danny, and he's like, well, you just need to show people what value you bring. And she's like, well, what do I bring? And I was like, he's like, well, you're funny and you're bright. And I was like, but it worked for Tilly, so work. Should we talk about the eviction room, Jordyn?
Oh, let's get to that eviction room and the lead.
Can we first talk about Sonya's blazer? This white blazer with the pink lapel. Love it.
This is the blazer I wanted for Marissa's little blazer moment.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Marissa would have looked so good in that white.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So
I was living for Sonya's look.
Yes. I was living for Sonya being like, so what happened in the nomination room? As if she didn't know. Because obviously they showed her the footage. But I was just like, Sonya, I fucking love you. I fucking love you, Sonya.
Yeah.
So basically the whole time is just everyone talking about the nomination situation. Everyone's like going back and forth, like, oh my god, what happened? They keep cutting to Christopher, and he feels just like very forlorn about everything. And Sonya's like, well, Tilly, how do you feel about being nominated? And she's like, well, it's shit. And I was just like, please, can we let Tilly go like very far in this game, just because she provides so much entertainment.
Oh my god, she was so funny. She was like, well, it's right shit, isn't it?
And I was just like, yes, Tilly, it is shit. And then she gets emotional, talking about like how people have the perception that she's stupid and she wants to prove her strengths, all of that. Michael's saying that he's been nothing but himself and that he'll work hard in challenges. And so at this point, Jordyn, we get an eviction vote. And it was really fucking close.
Yes, it was.
Like, well, not for
honestly,
Mary.
what I'm loving about this is it's actually splitting, and it's actually like it's been relatively close.
I think the most like landslide-ish vote we've gotten so far was Renata.
Yeah.
Like, otherwise it's been like pretty even. And so by a vote of 9-8-0, Michael was evicted, Jordyn.
Michael is on his way home to his mother.
Yeah, and I was like,
He won't
I
have
would
to
have
eat
liked
any more spinach.
and oats and tuna. I would have liked to get to know him more. He felt kind of just like an inconsequential player that I didn't really know.
He kind of fell on the sword where I wish he wouldn't have fallen on the sword.
I wish he had thought a little bit more.
Yeah, but he wasn't he wasn't
I feel the same.
either, though.
Yeah, I feel the same way about him as how I felt about Lil. Because
Yeah.
Lil was like, oh, my social game is gonna take me through. And then she got evicted and she was like, my social game didn't bring me through. And I was like, okay. So we move into episode 5. We are on day 11. And I would just like to start by talking about how attractive Christopher is. I'm sorry. Jordyn can't thirst over Brenton yet because we still don't have Brenton. Where is Brenton?
You know
What
what?
is happening
I
with
can't
Brenton?
thirst over Christopher either. Spoiler alert.
Why?
Why? You know damn well why.
Well, we can still thirst over him for this episode.
Don't patronize me, bitch.
But yeah, Christopher's looking great. We see Danny jump roping, so drink. And
doesn't he fall?
He does.
This is the episode he fell. And I cheered.
Yeah, so he's kind of set up this like jump roping station next to the pool on the top deck where he like watches over everyone, and I'm like,
you know, he has his need to like see everything going on while jump roping. I'm waiting for the day he jumps himself into the pool accidentally.
But what I love,
I will die of laughter.
Well, this is skipping ahead a little bit, but then Katie's talking later in her DR about how she's also competitive, and so her competitive nature now wants her to like beat Daniel, and so he was trying to do like a double skip or something. It was something like that. He was trying to like double skip, and then she did it flawlessly, and I was like, "You better fucking work, Katie. You better work." Like
she is giving me everything I need. And more.
You know who else is bringing me everything I need and more? Mary. And we get Mary's VT, and I was very happy to see it. We kind of already saw it because this is one of the VTs we saw preseason. But she's in the DR talking about how she's happy to be in the house. She needs to spend more time with people rather than just feeding them. And then we get a little bit of like her backstory. Because we knew she was a Greek mom. But she literally became a mom at 22. And so now that she's 55, she's like, it's time for me to find that bitch Mary. And I was like, yes, Mary, you better work Mary. Like
come on, that bitch Mary.
Who knew I would love Mary this much? I didn't.
I kind of had an idea you would like her. Like I
thought I would like Renata a lot more.
Renata's face angered me when she was like mad.
Well, remember, Mary is one of the people that said she wanted to go to a dinner party with Trump. So that kind of threw me off. But character
Mary is an icon.
character Mary, I'm in love with.
Character Mary.
Like, for me, it's Mary, it's Katie, it's SJ, it's Christopher for the duration of this episode. It's Sid, it's Tilly, it's Ari for me also. I'm loving Ari.
I also like Ari when he votes people out.
Oh, there's one we'll talk about on Saturday's episode. That is just the funniest.
This one.
Today he was like, I'm voting this house guest out because he's a magician. I was like, yes!
He's a magician. He deceives people. Like, get a real job.
I was dying. And then this is also skipping ahead a little bit. I think we can probably skip around a little bit with this one. I love that he's wearing a full-on Balenciaga sweater and Gucci slides. I'm like, oh, you are rich. Okay, bitch. Like, I see you.
Yes.
I'm like, I'm on board. This task also felt very BBUK and BB Can because they've done it on both. I think they've done it on BBUS as well. If I remember, I think there was one season they did it.
How would you have reacted? Like, could you have not reacted?
I think it depends on what it was. If I got like a video from home, I don't know how well I would have been able to stay together. Okay, but like, I think otherwise, like, there's not that many things that I like flinch at. So I think I would have done like decently. So this task is because it's surprise week. Big Brother provided them with a lot of surprises in the house, and they just had to like not react and act like nothing was happening. And the most emotional one, I remember this distinctly from, I think it was BB Can 5, when, oh God, what was the wrestler's name? Dylan, when they bring in Dylan's mom, I think it was, into the house.
Yeah. And
he's like full on crying, and then they're like, oh, you can fully like go hug your mom. And I was like, this is emotional. But I think I would have done okay. And then they fucking brought Tilly's dog into the Big Brother house.
Yeah.
And this is, I think, my favorite like sequence of events that has happened so far this season. So Tilly fully doesn't know what's happening. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna sunbathe. Do you want to come sunbathe? Jordyn, do you want to sunbathe? And then, oh my God, I need to. It's finally getting warm here again. Thank God. So I can get my tan better. But no, she's fully like, oh my God, sunbathing. And then like sees her dog and is full on sobbing, but talking about sunbathing. She's like, sunbathing.
Babes, do you want a
suntan?
Suntan.
Sunbathing.
Do you want a suntan?
Sunbathing. Sunbathe.
Babes.
Do you want to sunbathe?
Babes, good there. Babes, good there.
Sunbathe. Sunbathe.
My favorite thing was Big Brother being shady and filled the DR with fucking spider webs.
I fucking died.
And the internal struggle that Daniel is having during the time where he's like,
If
and you
Daniel's
can tell
struggling,
he's like
I'm on board.
Internally melting.
I love
I love SJ trying to move the dog.
So good. Just SJ sitting next to a dog that is fully the same size as her. I was cracking up laughing. I think my favorite one, though, for as dumb as it was, they were fully grilling lamb in the laundry room while Melissa's trying to iron. And I was like, I fucking can't. And
the other one I liked was Ari talking about targeting Daniel while being harassed by the clown.
And then he fully just like the pie to the face, and then he leaves the DR and he's like, how's everybody's day going? With like full, it looked like whipped cream to me, or it was like shaving cream. It was one of the two. I couldn't tell what it was. But I was like, this is fucking Amazing. So the task ends up being successful.
Oh.
So they win not coffee, which I think is what they would have rather had, but they win a KFC feast. And I was like, I don't know what KFCs are like in Canada, Jordyn, but 80% of these menu items they were talking about, I was like, I don't know what any of these are.
Popcorn chicken?
Well, I've worked at a KFC, so I was like...
Did you not have popcorn chicken?
We did, but when they were talking, it was like the Wicked Wing, whatever, or something like that.
Okay, yeah, I was confused.
I was like, I don't know what that is. And then they full on had fries. Like, we didn't have fries when I worked there.
KFC here has fries.
Well, ours were like the like potato wedges. Like, they weren't like actual like traditional fries. They were more the wedges. And so I was like kind of confused.
No, they're like a French fry, like a skinny one.
Oh, okay. Work.
Love that. I don't know if I would have worked that hard for just KFC.
I can't eat KFC anymore because I worked at one. And like
no.
Not that I know any like insider secrets, but like I just can't do it. Like,
you
coleslaw
mean
maybe.
Secrets?
Oh yeah, I know what the 23 things that they put in their fucking seasoning is. Or whatever their like tagline is for their chicken. But yeah, I'm also not a chicken on the bone, like fried chicken person. I'm more of like a boneless, skinless, like chicken breast. Yeah. Maybe a chicken thigh every once in a while.
Maybe a chicken finger, a chicken nugget.
Oh, I'm gonna have to come once the borders open. I'm gonna come visit, and I'm gonna make you my homemade chicken nuggets because they're fabulous.
Oh, I'm dreaming of chicken nuggets because I have the palate of a toddler.
Mine are so good too, like full on chicken breast, like panko breadcrumbs. I go the full nine yards, whatever the fuck the phrasing is, whatever it is.
Okay. Then we get basically Chris showing off his magician skills.
Which was kind of hot, not gonna lie.
He was showing them like a French...
It was like a ring thing.
Yeah. It was like a French... It's like the easy way to palm. Yeah, I would call it palming. Because you're like just switching them out or whatever, yeah.
If you didn't know, Jordyn did magic. Jordyn knows how to do some magic.
Haven't for a very long time.
But you know how.
But I do. Yeah, I know how. Yeah. I know a few things.
Yeah, and so Katie kind of takes this time to go talk to Daniel about the Michael vote. And it basically just becomes a confrontation in the fucking bathroom. Again, shocker. Danny and Katie fighting again.
Why is he coming at Katie?
I don't get it. Like, I genuinely don't understand. And, like, I think it was...
You know, like, the one thing, like... Katie seems to know how to push his buttons to make him even more aggravated.
So clearly he can't handle...
No. He can't handle bad bitches.
I was going to say he can't handle a woman having the same amount of power as him. Like, obviously.
No. And she likes feeding into his insecurities.
I love it. I also think she's taller than him, which is so funny for me. Like, Daniel is the epitome of short man syndrome.
Daniel is like pocket Daniel. And Katie's just like aggravating me even more. And
Katie's like a full-on Amazon woman, and he's like Pee Wee Herman. Like, that's kind of how I feel. Again, would I smash?
Yes, you would.
If he did not say a single word? Absolutely. But like
Logan would need
Yes.
a ball gag in his mouth because the erection would be gone the second he opened it.
I mean, where's the lie? Anyway, should we talk about the nomination challenge, Jordyn?
Yeah, so talk about the
So-
nomination challenge.
So, not an individual comp again. We're doing a pair competition this time, which I thought was interesting and kind of cute and like a little bit different.
This was very BB Can. Like,
this felt
get
very
those balls.
This felt BBUS more than BB Can to me.
Yeah, well,
So-
it was definitely like derived in both.
Yeah. How would we have done together if we are a pair, Jordyn? How would we have done?
I would have knocked something off the thing, and then you would have been like, "Bitch!"
Would it have been like the tamer, gayer version of Danny and Charlotte?
The intensity wouldn't be there. You'd be like, "No, bitch, don't."
Like, bitch! Like, I would have been more annoyed than mad. Like, I wouldn't have been mad.
So like the one thing I would have been like, would have preferred for them is if anything fell off, they should have had to restart the whole thing.
I see what you mean. I like that it's not like a full restart because I feel like that comp would have taken literally days to finish. But yeah, so it's a pair challenge. You're walking along like a seesaw and you have to transfer balls from one side onto your logo target thing. It's the shape of an eye.
It's
How
the shape
cute.
of an eye.
And so I also realized today that the cave room is shaped like an eye. Like the eye.
Oh, you just noticed that?
Yeah, I don't catch on to things very quickly. It was like they had like an overhead view in one of the episodes I was watching. I don't remember which one. But it was like an overhead view. And I was like, oh, the room's shaped like an eye. That's cute. But yeah, so they have to place balls on the target, and the first team to get 10 onto their target wins. So the pairings for this competition, we had SJ and Mary, Danny and Charlotte, which ended oh so miraculously. I loved it.
So miraculously.
Tilly and Mel, we had Marley and Chris, Sid and Mitch, Katie and Jess, Nick and Christina, and Ari and Carlos. So very early on, we see that like Marley and Chris are doing well, Tilly and Mel are doing well, Jess and Katie are doing well. Danny and Charlotte are a hot fucking disaster and yelling at each other. SJ and Mary can't get their shit together, but they're doing their best.
Danny and Charlotte's bickering back and forth.
Oh my god. I was like, thank God someone's fucking standing up to him, because I would have done the same thing. And he was fucking it up for them more. He was fucking it up more than she was. I got so fucking annoyed. But there wasn't really
annoyed, but I was also enjoying it. I was like,
yeah. So towards the end, it ends up coming down to Mel and Tilly versus Jess and Katie, with Marley and Chris as like a close third, but not really there.
Yeah.
And then we find out that Mel and Tilly win the challenge. And I was like, good for you, Tilly. I don't want to see Melissa win. But good for you, Tilly.
Tilly had some good form. Like she looked like she was in her element.
Oh, yeah. The best part for me, Jordyn, is that the entire, like, during the last crossover when she's putting on the last ball, she puts it down. And obviously Big Brother's giving his, like, commentary. And she's like, Big Brother, can you shush for one moment, please? And I was like, yes, Tilly.
Big Brother. Shush.
I died. So yeah, so Mel and Tilly
honestly,
win.
whoever is Big Brother, like his comments, again, they make it's so much fun to watch.
So I'm convinced there's 2. At least.
Me too. Yeah.
Because, we'll talk about it more on Saturday, but I'm now convinced that there's at least 2, maybe 3, because of the way certain things went down. So Mel and Tilly go straight to the DR to do their nominating, and because they're serving under General Danny and Sheriff Nick, they decide that they're going to take a big shot, so they nominate SJ as a safe vote, and it's kind of a tit for tat for Tilly.
Tilly for eating those chickpeas.
For the chickpea incident. They put up Charlotte as the fake target because of what happened in the karaoke challenge. And then they put up Chris. And I have a banner showing you all who those nominees are, and I can't find it. There it is. Yeah, so they put up SJ as the pawn, basically, Charlotte as the fake target, and Christopher as the real target. And obviously I'm not happy about this because these are 2 house guests that I really like and 1 house guest that we've been memeing about. So I was like, regardless, this isn't going to end well for us.
No.
Yeah, and so the whole time, in the other thing I want to touch on for the hottest of moments is I don't like that they only get 3, maybe 4 hours to save themselves.
Yeah.
It feels so short. It feels so short.
I guess when you're doing an eviction a day, it's kind of one of those things.
Well, for the episodes, yeah, but they're doing an eviction every 3 days. Is what it seems like.
Still feels short.
Yeah, and then we see Danny's immediate reaction. He literally verbally says, "Good girl." I was like, "Stop! Stop with your short man syndrome. Stop."
I cannot with him.
And then Katie's in the DR, and she's talking about how it's 3 people from their alliance, but she's decided that she's voting out Charlotte because her and SJ have a very close relationship. And she thinks Christopher is more able to win comps in the future, which is a completely valid reasoning.
Yeah.
And then Mary later on is also talking about how she's voting out Charlotte for basically the exact same reasons.
Yep.
All the while, Sheriff Dan and General Nick, Sheriff Nick and General Dan are putting together
Dumb and Dumber.
Dumb and Dumber. They're putting together their little army of people that are voting out Chris. And so at this point, they think it's the 2 of them plus Christina, Mitch, Ari, Carlos, and Charlotte. And then Danny is the dumber in this situation because he goes to SJ and he's voting out Chris. Okay. And then what did you expect her to do? She goes straight to Katie and she's like, they're voting out Chris. And then Katie goes to Marley and is like, they're voting out Chris. And then Marley and Jess and Katie go to Chris and they're like, they're voting you out. And then I don't like Mel that much, I'll be honest. But her reaction to finding out that Danny has blown the blind side is everything for me. I was just like, this is great. This is everything I've wanted. She literally goes you're so fucking dumb.
Her self-realization.
I think she realized in that moment that she aligned herself with the wrong people. And I was just like...
Honestly, I can see her turning on Danny down the line.
I don't. I think if one of them is going to turn, I think it's going to be Danny turning on Mel, unfortunately. Because I feel like Mel is going to be the person... Mel is going to be... Oh, God. Who can I attribute her to? Who's, the super loyal person? In any of these seasons. She's the Kiefer. She is the Kiefer. She's going to be loyal to the soil, whatever, until literally the very bitter end. And I feel like Danny, if he makes it that far, which I hope he doesn't, is going to be the one to flip on her potentially if he has to.
Yeah.
So the rest of the day is basically just Scramble City, and then we go into the eviction room. And I want to point out here, all 3 nominees, gorgeous. Especially
Stunning.
Charlotte. Charlotte looks so fucking good.
You know,
this, like, big
as annoying as Charlotte is, I think
she's giving the looks.
She's giving us looks. So, like, I hope she's around a little longer.
Yeah,
just because of that. Because she is a stylist after all. So I'm sure we're gonna. This isn't.
She has the fashion, I believe it.
She does.
We haven't seen much, but I just love this poof sleeve with the palazzo white linen pant. I was like, can I rock this look? I probably could. I was like, should I?
Maybe.
Chris looked great, as always. You know who else is turning the fashion is SJ. Absolutely. SJ is on the fashion game. She's looking so good every single episode.
That is why SJ blew up on Instagram. Because she is an icon.
Yes. And Sonia, as always, looks beautiful. This was the blue number, right?
Yes, it was.
Fabulous. The only part I didn't like was, like, the small strap. Because it was, like, a half sleeve and then, like, the strap on the... I was like, I don't need this asymmetry.
The proportion was weird.
But she still looked great.
Yeah, 100%.
And so the whole time is basically just talking about how Danny fucked up. Mel says that FJ is the safe bet, drink again. And she goes through the reasoning. She's like, SJ is a safe bet. She said that Chris isn't a strong player. And it's back to, like, her thing of, like, she wants to be at the end with the strong players. So clearly your strategy is to only be at the end with men. Okay.
Men with short dick syndrome.
Confusion. And she says Charlotte isn't giving 110%. And then Charlotte kind of talks about how she, like, kind of hit rock bottom this week because of the karaoke task. Like, she hasn't been, like, in it. And now SJ is finally learning the strategic game, which I love.
SJ is an icon, a legend. Yes, God.
Yes. And then right before the vote, we got a Chris and Danny confrontation, which I love confrontation. And then Katie kind of comes to Chris's defense and is like, well, I think he's made quality connections, because that was Danny's whole argument. Like, you haven't made connections with anyone, yada, yada, yada. And Katie's like, well, I have a great connection with Chris, so that's just you. And so we go into another vote, Jordyn.
Sounds like a you problem.
It does. Another close vote. Another very close vote.
Yeah.
And remember that Mel and Tilly cannot vote because they won the challenge. With the case of the Michael vote, 9 people won the challenge, so everyone could just vote. It would have been interesting, though, if none of them had been able to vote, and it was only like the losing team people who could vote. I think that vote would have gone differently. I think that vote would have gone differently. I think we would have lost Tilly. So I guess I'm kind of glad. But by a vote...
Well, like, the whole time Tilly was up, I was like, fuck, we're going to lose one-liners.
Yeah. I was like, we can't lose the entertainment. But by a vote, Jordyn, of 8-6-0, we lost our magician.
Womp womp.
I'm really sad because he's really attractive.
Go see his Vegas show. You're very close.
I plan on it. I'm only, how far is it now? 6 hours?
Yeah.
It's not too bad. But, yeah. And so the votes to evict Chris were Ari, Carlos, Charlotte, Christina, Danny, Mitch, Nick, and SJ. Which I thought was kind of interesting. SJ actually going through with the vote against Chris, because otherwise it would have been a 7-7 tie.
I think at the moment she knew that's what she had to do.
And she did say, like, this is a strategic move for me. But I'm like, getting rid of one of your side who could win comps is a strategic
What would have
move.
happened if it tied?
I believe they would have re-voted. And then if the tie isn't broken... No, I know what happens. So if there's no re-vote, it would have been Mel and Tilly would have broken the tie.
Oh, okay.
And they would have gotten rid of Chris. So, like, they would have
was going to be the outcome.
They would have had to flip SJ and Ari. I think it's the one person they probably could have flipped. Because in the votes to evict Charlotte with Chris, Jess, Katie, Marley, Mary, and Sid. So it's that like whole other part of the house. I was interested that Sid voted to evict Charlotte because Sid is kind of sitting in this weird spot. And that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. Not that I want us to go super, super long, but I wanted to talk and ask you, Jordyn, who do you think is in the best positions right now? Like, it could be multiple people, but who do you think is sitting in a good spot in the house right now?
As much as I hate the person, Danny.
Yeah.
Because he seems to be running the shots.
Yeah. I would say, honestly, I think Nick is in a better spot than Danny. Because I think
like, I also feel like... So, like, as annoying as Danny is, I think the smart move for them would be to take Nick before they take out Danny.
Oh, absolutely. I think that would be the smart move. I think both of them are in a really good position, obviously, because they're running an entire side of the house. But I think Nick is positioned a little bit better because he's, like, running that side, but Danny is kind of the mouthpiece.
He's letting Danny be that mouthpiece because Danny doesn't know how to shut his fucking mouth.
As much as I may not necessarily like Nick, I think he's playing a really good game. I think, like, he's positioning himself well, and I have to respect that gameplay as much as I may not like him. I think the other two people right now that I think are in a relatively good spot, I would say Ari, absolutely. I don't think there's anyone that dislikes Ari at this point.
No. Ari is in a great spot.
And I think the other person, honestly, I think is Mitch. I think Mitch is putting himself in a really good position, kind of along the same lines. Like, everyone likes him. I don't think he's going to be necessarily targeted. But yeah.
Yeah. I also, like, I feel like Katie, I don't know why, like, Danny is talking all this shit and being like, oh, I'm coming at you like a freight train, but has yet to nominate her.
Well, he hasn't had the opportunity to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, like, they could have.
They could have, but they could have, but Jeff jumped in the group nomination, was like, I'm not putting up Katie. And so I guess, like, that's good.
I'm excited to see where that's going.
Yeah, I hope the editing gets better. I hope that we get to know some of these house guests a little bit more. I'm like, hi, I would like to know, I'd like, as much as I don't really care for her a whole lot, but, like, I'd like to see more about Christina. I'd like to see more about, like, I don't know. We got a little bit more about Marley, but, like, I'd like to see more about Marley.
I would also like to know, where the fuck is Brenton?
Where is Brenton? It's a really good question that has yet to be answered, Jordyn. Where is Brenton?
We will eventually find out, hopefully.
Maybe we'll know by the time we get to Saturday's episode.
Oh, we can dream.
Maybe we will know by then.
Yeah, I'm really excited. What do we have on our horizon this week?
I'm so glad you asked, Jordyn. So, if you're watching this the day it comes out on Wednesday, we are going to be live tomorrow night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. Even though the finale starts at 8 Eastern, we're sticking with our 11:30 time because that's what we've said. But we will be live at 11:30 p.m. Eastern to talk about the finale of Big Brother Canada 9. We know the final 3 now. I don't know if Jordyn knows the final 3, but we know the final 3. We know. The world knows.
You have a few hours to vote for your favorite house guest.
Yes, go vote for your favorite house guest, because for the first time they're doing Canada's favorite. Thank you, Jesus. We've been asking for it for years. So that way, I'm still mad we didn't have it on BB Can 5, so we could have given it to fucking Ika Wong. Because Ika Wong deserves a Canada's favorite. I know that's right. So yeah, we will be back live. We will be back live tomorrow, 11:30 p.m. Eastern, and then Friday we will be back to talk about the finale episode of The Circle that dropped today. That's going to be at our seemingly normal live time of 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then we are actively doing our Wednesday live stream, but we will be back again Saturday night at our normal time, 10:30 p.m. EST or EDT. These are all EDT. I just didn't care enough to change it. 10:30 p.m. EDT, 12:30 p.m. AEDT on Thursday for Australians to talk episode 6 and 7 of BBAU, the rest of week 2. Yeah, so
the rest of Surprise Week.
The rest of Surprise Week. And boy, were there some surprises, Jordyn. I'm excited to talk about
I am very excited.
Yes, come join us tomorrow night for our BB Can finale. And with that,
Bye, everyone.
goodbye.